Welcome to episode 214 of the AHRC Marathon Training Vlog. MK here with Cole and Evan. And it's Tuesday. We're on an aerobic zone run. Taking it a little easy at the beginning, easy pace, and moving into steady state, and then backing off back down to easy pace. Staying in the aerobic area. Wearing sunglasses with no sun because it's so windy. We're having the Santa Ana winds now and debris is flying everywhere. Just trying to keep it out of the eyes. But it makes for good running. Get air conditioning the whole way. Right on. Today, we're going to talk about how to run a marathon in under 4 hours. This is a good one. Let's go. To run a 4-hour marathon, you have to average 9 minutes and 9 seconds per mile. But in order to be able to practice with a GPS watch, you have to account for the GPS inaccuracy and practice a little faster than what you expect to run on race day. So I'm going to set the target goal as 3:58. That way we can account for the 5-second discrepancy in pacing per mile. So the average pace that you should practice marathon pace is 9:04 per mile for a finish time of 3:58 per GPS. During your marathon training build, you can set milestone goals at the half marathon, 10K, and 5K to measure your progress and see if you're on track to finish a marathon in under 4 hours. The equivalent finishing times for the half marathon is 1:55, and for the 10K is just under 52 minutes, and for the 5K is just over 25. You can use tempo runs to help build and progress towards a half marathon, and you can use VO2 max intervals to help build towards your fast 5K. You can use a VDOT calculator. I like to use Jack Daniel's VDOT calculator to calculate those different paces. So the training pace for easy pace is a range from 10:07 to 11:07. So you'll do your easy pace runs mostly during long runs and during floats, during warm-ups and cool downs. It will occupy a lot of your running time. We already know that marathon pace is 9:04 per mile. Tempo or lactate threshold pace is 8:28 per mile. Interval or VO2 max effort, which most people call VO2 max, but it's around 90% of VO2 max, is 7:47 per mile. And the speed that you want to do repetitions are your fastest interval type with full rest, and your heart rate doesn't get too high. And those are run at a speed of 7:14 per mile. So in order to run under 4 hours, if you do 16 weeks to prepare for it, or 14 weeks or 12 weeks to prepare, I would recommend nothing less than 12 weeks. Then I would schedule a long run every weekend and try to build up to it. Maybe start at 60 minutes and then try to work your way slowly, incrementally, up until you get to 2.5 hours. Towards the beginning of the build, if you take a few weeks to do some base building and just do all easy runs and stay in the aerobic zone, then after a few weeks, you should start doing tempo runs to build up your lactate threshold, or your speed at lactate threshold, and your ability to clear lactate from your muscles. You won't be able to do whole tempo runs. Let's say the most representative one would be a 40-minute run at lactate threshold pace, which is 8:28 for those of you trying to break 4 hours. So when you start doing tempo runs, do them broken. Break them up into 10-minute segments. And you can do 2 10-minute segments, and that'll get you 20 minutes of tempo time. It's a good start. And then slowly you can build up to more tempo time, more unbroken intervals during that tempo time, and less float time in between. Remember, always float at easy pace. You want to be able to do your unbroken tempo run, which is at least 40 minutes of tempo about 6 weeks before your marathon race. Then you can fine-tune that and do some time trials, either an 8K if you're a little on the slow side, or even possibly a 10K if you're good at clearing lactate from your muscles. And I would recommend doing those 3 times before the race in the last 6 weeks. You also want to feel like the marathon is kind of slow. And in order to do that, you have to move your graph to the right. And the best way to do that is to increase your speed at VO2 max. So that's why we do interval work in marathon running, even though we don't run that fast in a marathon. It takes about 6 weeks to plateau for your VO2 max. So you can wait for until about 8 weeks out from the race to start doing interval sessions at the track. There are a bunch of different types of interval sessions. You can get real creative with it, but I'll keep it really simple and just talk about how to do 800s and how to progress that. So from 8 weeks out, once a week, you want to start doing interval sessions at the track. And you do a warm-up at easy pace, and you get on the line and you do 2 laps, and that's 800 meters. You want to time it so that you finish each interval in 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Then you want to give yourself about 3 minutes of rest in between. Use active recovery. You don't have to jog at easy pace, but you do want to jog comfortably until your heart rate comes down and stay active. This will help keep lactate from building up in your muscles and being stiff-legged on the next interval. You can start by trying to do 4 of these intervals. It's going to be tough, and you'll be inclined to do them too fast in the beginning. Don't worry, they're going to get harder. It's better to finish strongly so that your heart rate will reach VO2 max. Your heart rate will not reach VO2 max in these sessions at the beginning, in the first half. So if you end up spending all of your energy in the first 2 reps, then you're never going to hit VO2 max zone. So save it, let your heart rate slowly increase, and then kill it in the final reps. You can progress each week these interval sessions by increasing the number of intervals, by decreasing the interval time slightly, maybe from 3:52 to 351 to 350. And finally, decreasing the amount of active recovery from 3 minutes to 2:30 to 2 minutes to 90 seconds, and finally 60 seconds would be the shortest active recovery that I'd recommend. So if you do those types of running, the long run, the lactate threshold run, the VO2 max interval session, and then you start incorporating some marathon pace miles in your long run, then you have all of the necessary components to race a marathon in under 4 hours. Fill in the rest of the week with recovery runs at easy pace or slower, and you can even do some cross training if you like, if you're the type of runner that doesn't like to do high mileage. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any important content that will help you reach your running and marathon goals. Thanks for joining us on our 8-mile aerobic zone run. It was a good one. I really had a good time with Cole and Evan on this super windy day, and I enjoyed talking with you about how to break 4 hours in the marathon. I hope you have a great day and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now. So, how was the run this morning?
It was good.
How many miles did you run?
8 miles.
Hey. Nice aerobic run, huh?
Yes.
What'd you have for breakfast today?
I had oatmeal with raisins and cocoa pebbles and bananas, and I also had a breakfast taco.
A breakfast what?
Breakfast taco.
Oh, nice. So Southern California.